The Sunday Times newspaper this morning calls for a new British ambassador to the European Union. The man they want is Sir Terry Wogan, stepping down after 30 years of hilariously irreverent coverage of the Eurovision Song Contest. Well, diplomat or not, he's going to carry on broadcasting all over the place. He presents the breakfast show on Radio 2. He's also, of course, the face of Children in Need. And this week, he is launching a single to raise money for that cause. We're going to be talking about that in a moment. But first, the decision to leave Eurovision, Sir Terry. It had become so surreal that Salvador Dali would have struggled to depict it.
Well, yes, it had become enormously huge. And, I mean, it'll be even bigger next year because there are 2 semi-finals as well as 1 final. And I figure that the voting process itself will become interminable. It'll probably go on well into the following morning because, as I've said, there are 2 semi-finals, there's a final, and I just think that it probably has outgrown its strength, a bit like myself.
Do you think the fun's gone out of it a bit?
Yeah, I think it has become tremendously political. I mean, I've said it before, that in place of the Iron Curtain, which has come down over Europe, there's now a musical curtain. And I just felt, apart from all that it was time. You know, only the river goes on forever. We all have our exits and our entrances, and I think probably it was opportune for me to leave it before it left me, as it were.
Because these days, if you hear that somebody has been performing on Eurovision, you assume that they are an atrociously bad act. Have there been really good songs over the years?
Yes, I mean, I think that's an excessively harsh view. You're obviously a music lover, if you say that kind of thing. And yes, there have been extremely good acts over the years, and they're mostly bizarre acts. I mean, obviously one remembers ABBA winning in Brighton in 1974. That was a breakthrough. There have been political moments when, for instance, the Portuguese entry came out with carnations in the barrels of their guns, and that signalled the revolt against Salazar in Portugal. So there have been important moments. There have been bizarre moments where, for instance, Dana International, who had won in Birmingham the previous year, went to present the Grand Prix to the winner in Jerusalem the following year, fell over her 6-foot high heels, and 6 members of Mossad immediately flung themselves upon her, thinking it was some kind of assassination attempt.
So you'll remember all of that with great affection. Do you think Britain can ever win, given the voting system? Can we beat the voting system and win?
I don't think until democracy really strikes home in Eastern Europe, and that may take some years, I think the old habits die hard. In the Warsaw Pact and being under the paw of the Russian bear, the Eastern European countries vote according to rote. They vote the way they always voted. They vote for each other. They vote for the next-door neighbour in case the next-door neighbour is ever going to turn ugly. And so it means that I think Western European countries are going to be left a little bit out in the cold, and have been indeed.
Let's talk.
And, I mean, since the UK and France and Germany and Spain are the ones who put up most of the money for this, they may get a little tired in the fullness of time of paying all the money and coming last.
That's a very good point. Let's hear a little bit from your latest effusion, if I can put it that way, with Aled Jones. You've recorded, to raise money for children in need, I should say, a song for Christmas. Let's just hear a little bit of that first.
A newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum.
Sir Terry, I put it to you, I mean, or I ask you, do you think you sing as well as John Sargent dances?
Do you think I sing as well as who?
John Sargent dances.
How dare you? That is probably the nastiest thing anybody's said to me this weekend. I think there is a pleasing baritone in there, but it probably belongs to Aled Jones. And many things are done in the name of charity.
And I've done some.
This is one of them. But we're hoping that it's going to raise a ton of money for children in need. It's part of a CD put together by Terry's old geezers and gals, the Togs.
Yeah.
to raise money for children in need called Bandaged. Now, that already has raised £140,000 for children in need. If this sells well over Christmas, that's the whole point of it. I'm not in this for the glory, Andrew.
I think we noticed, but it's interesting, isn't it, that children did so well this year, because there's been the feeling that recession, tough times, people will give less to charity. Possibly the opposite's happening.
Well, I saw indications of this months ago when I kept getting all manner of emails from people who were raising £20 here, £200 there. And although it's a kind of cliche to say it, the people of this country really are at their best when their backs are to the wall. And I wasn't tremendously surprised. There were lots of people saying, with the credit crunch and all that, you can never make what you made last year, which was a record year. But this year we did, £21 million, which is fantastic. And I'm still getting mail in from people saying, we've raised 20 quid here, we've raised £2,000 there. And I'm sure that by the time the grand total is announced, it'll be pretty close to £40 million.
That's astonishing. Well, Sir Terry, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Good luck with the single. Hope it sells a bundle. Many thanks.
Well, listen, I wouldn't get up this early on a weekend morning for anybody except yourself.
You're very sweet. Thank you.